Oh, hey, you're here, we're here, let's have a show. Thursday, November the 28th, here's what we're working on this morning. Ontario government, so they're going to match the GST holiday by removing provincial sales tax on some items.
Busy night for the NHL and NBA ahead of all that American Thanksgiving football.
And Taylor Swift ranks number 2 on the greatest pop star list of the 21st century. Who's number 1? That's a pretty good tease right there, because I might have to stick around and find out.
Yeah, I have a good guess, I think.
I have a guess.
Okay.
Save it, save it.
All right, no,
Save it.
the Queen Bee.
Oh. No,
I love you, Tim.
No, nobody needs to stick around. We could have had them all day. We could have put that at like 8:55.
No, I get it. I understand. But here's the thing. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just throwing it out there. And anyone that doesn't live under a rock probably is thinking the same thing. But what would be really crazy if it was like Bruce Springsteen?
Oh, see, I thought it might be Michael Jackson.
See?
I thought it might have been Madonna.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
you don't know for sure.
No, I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I don't know
because
these
I thought
things.
it's your story that you know, like, because you're
It
going
might
to do
be
it.
my story, but I'm busy today. I got
guess you have
traffic,
some
I
things
got
going on.
weather, I'm
You got
writing,
stuff
I'm
on the
not
roads.
reading. Yeah.
I understand. So take it away, Emily.
I got things on the go. Okay,
With the rest of the show, we're just going to put our feet up.
Okay. Yeah, yesterday was beautiful. Sunny. We got temperatures up to about 3 degrees, so we didn't hit our forecast high of 5. Today, however, we are expected to get up to 5 degrees, but dun dun dun, winter has arrived. We are going to be seeing some light snow throughout the day today. We've already seen a few isolated flurries that could be impacting your drive. Looking at 403 and Waterdown, not bad at this hour. Of course, headlights fully on. Make sure you are giving yourself some extra travel time. If you do find yourself into some slippery conditions, QEW, Skyway, the Hamilton side, yeah, it's wet. So we're dealing with some wet conditions. We've got a little bit of mixing, a little bit of rain, and a few isolated flurries at QEW and Walker's Line. QEW Guelph Line moving well. And we're also taking a look at 403 west of Mississauga. Things are moving well at this hour. Okay, full forecast details. How much snow, who's getting what, all of that to come. But first, the news.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Let's get into the news, and I want to give you an update on the story we told you about yesterday about that 401 shooter. Toronto police have arrested a man accused of shooting at several vehicles while walking on the 401.
Hey, no.
So the video shows that man walking on the 401 and pointing a gun at that car. Now, in a separate incident, Toronto police responded to reports of a carjacking around 7 o'clock last night. A man had been shot and the suspect fled in the victim's car, which was later found abandoned. And the suspect then fled on foot, but was arrested after a brief pursuit. Police held a media briefing about 10 o'clock last night announcing the arrest of 29-year-old Troy Ledrew of Toronto. Police confirmed the man they arrested was the same suspect wanted for the highway shootings. Ledrew is accused of shooting at more than 10 cars driving on the highway in Mississauga just after 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
More details are emerging about a Hamilton street gang that's been linked to drug trafficking, robberies, shootings, and murders. Police believe the gang, known as the Hot Molly Squad, or HMS, is connected to a lot of violent incidents, including 2 in 2021. A daytime fatal drive-by shooting at Cannon and Barnsdale in Hamilton, and a deadly shooting outside of a Tim Hortons at Caroline in King in downtown Hamilton. They also believe they're tied to more recent shootings in the downtown core in June. 24 people have been arrested and more than 170 charges have been laid. Police are still looking for one man, 39-year-old Corey Salter from Hamilton. He's wanted on 2 counts of drug trafficking, and police are urging him to come forward.
Ontario government, they plan to match the federal government's 2-month GST holiday to offer additional relief for the province. Let's bring in Simone Gavros, who's on this story for us this morning from downtown Burlington. What can you tell us, Simone?
Well, Tim, Ontario says that this tax holiday is going to cost the province $1 billion, but they do say they support it, and they're not going to be looking to get back any of that lost revenue. Now, last week, the federal government announced their plans to pause the GST on a number of items, including food or prepared food, toys, some alcohol, and other holiday essentials for 2 months. Premier Doug Ford had previously said that he supports the move, and now Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy's office confirms the provincial sales tax will also be removed on items not already covered by existing rebates. Ontario already offers rebates on items such as books, newspapers, children's clothes, and car seats. Other provinces where the provincial and federal sales taxes are blended together to make the harmonized sales tax, they're calling for compensation for the lost revenue. Meantime, the $250 rebate check portion of the federal holiday bill is going back to the drawing board. The rebate was initially slated for most working Canadians, but the NDP want the benefit expanded to go to non-working seniors and people with disabilities who don't have a working income.
We want to reiterate our demand that the Liberals fix the checks. They expand it to include seniors, people living with disabilities. We need to see real relief for Canadians. People are hurting right now. People are saying that they cannot afford the things that they need for their family, that they're drowning. So we need to give them some relief.
Now, the GST-HST bill is expected to pass later today in the House of Commons, and it would go into effect on December 14th. Annette, back over to you.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, in response to Donald Trump's threat of a 25% tariff on Canadian imports, federal and provincial leaders held an emergency virtual meeting. Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland says the emergency First Ministers meeting brought about agreement around the table, noting that it is time for everyone to play for Team Canada. That unity, though, from yesterday's meeting was quickly tested. Right after they dispersed that meeting, Ontario Premier Doug Ford issued a statement. In it, he criticized the federal government for a lack of preparation. He is urging a more proactive approach when he says, quote, shows that it takes the security of our border seriously by cracking down on illegal border crossings and stopping the transport of guns and illicit drugs like fentanyl, or risk the economic chaos of Trump tariffs.
Let's talk a little bit more of Trump, because he has nominated a new trade czar who will play a critical role in implementing tariffs and in a review of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement. So Trump has picked Jamieson Greer to be a U.S. trade representative. Greer was chief of staff to former trade representative Robert Lighthizer during Trump's first administration. He also played a critical role in the crafting of the trilateral pact that did replace NAFTA. If he's confirmed, Greer will be in charge of the 2026 review of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement.
Planning to travel across the border for Black Friday shopping or the American Thanksgiving? Well, Canada Border Services warns it's going to be extra busy. Thanksgiving weekend in the States is a peak travel period, and delays at the border are common. Last year, the CBSA welcomed over 86 million travelers and dealt with a significant increase in goods and security-related incidents. It underscores the need for efficient planning. When heading to the border, the agency says to make sure that you check the border wait times and expect delays. To make crossing smoother, they say the best thing to do is to have all of your documents ready and to declare everything.
To help give help expedite your process into Canada when you're traveling, things to have handy is have those travel documents ready to go. Just those little things that help speed up the process a little bit more. If you are a Canadian resident returning with goods that you've purchased outside of Canada, have your receipts ready, know everything that you are bringing back with you. If you're traveling by land, you are responsible for everything in the vehicle.
Agency says if you're unsure of what to declare, don't hesitate to ask. For a full list of tips to make your tips smoother, head to our website, chch.com. Well, Parks Canada wants us to balloon responsibly. Staff at Point Pelee National Park posted photos on social media showing just some of the hundreds of deflated balloons that they clean up from their shoreline this year alone. Parks Canada says while the balloons are beautiful when they're floating in the air, once they pop, they can tangle up wildlife. The balloons also introduce microplastics into the environment, which can take years to decompose. So if you're buying helium balloons, Parks staff asks that you dispose of them properly in the garbage.
All right, busy night for the NHL and NBA as both leagues take today off, with it being Thanksgiving down south. Maple Leafs trying to keep their hot streak going against the defending Cup champs in Florida.
But a 2-on-1 back the other way. Ekblad driving the net. It'll be dropped back. Reinhart scores.
So that didn't happen as the Panthers ended their 4-game losing streak with a dominant effort against the Buds, thanks to special teams. Sam Reinhart scored his league-leading 17th with a shorthanded tally in the second. Really, the only bright spot for Toronto was this highlight reel goal by Mitch Marner, who has been a stud with Austin Matthews missing his 9th straight game. But that was the only goal. Get past Sergei Bobrovsky, Bob the goalie. That's a pretty sweet move, though, by Marner. We'll have another look at it right here. Hello, yoink. Waterdown's Carter Verhaeghe, he would score Florida's second power play goal, beating his former teammate, Leafs goalie Anthony Stolarz. They would add an empty netter, and the Leafs lose for only the second time in the last 9 games. 5-1 the final. Toronto is off until Saturday, when hopefully Matthews returns in Tampa.
Lindgren. Oh, he put it in his own net! Charlie Lindgren.
Speaking of Tampa, what a moment for Washington goalie Charlie Lindgren, who fired the puck into his own net in the third to give Tampa the lead over his Capitals. I guess he was trying to put it behind the net, but scored the easiest goalie goal you will ever see. And yeah, and it could have sunk the Caps, but they came back to tie it. And then Tom Wilson would score the winner with over 3 minutes to go. They saved Lindgren from embarrassment, who actually made a couple great saves late. We'll hear from him next hour because Capitals, they take it 5-4.
Taken away by Slavkovsky off the boards, and it's Cole Caulfield in alone, scores!
A special night for Cole Caulfield in Columbus as his Habs were hoping to overcome an overtime loss on Tuesday against Utah. And after his friend and Blue Jackets forward Johnny Gaudreau died in September, Caulfield changed his number to Johnny's number 13 in the rink where he played. And he scored his 13th of the season to tie the game at 2. That's pretty special. Second straight night, Montreal went to overtime. This time they come out on top as Nick Suzuki scored the winner 44 seconds into extra hockey. 4-3 the final.
They had that tough stretch in the first quarter, but since then, Matty, they've been stellar.
Abachi! Another 3 knocks it down.
It took 10 games, but the Raptors finally won their first game on the road after their worst start in franchise history away from Scotiabank. And they turned to a couple lesser knowns in the Big Easy. Ochai Agbaji and Jamison Battle each scored 24 points, and Toronto picked up a big 119-93 win over the Pelicans in New Orleans. Oh no, the Pelicans, they're so scary. They weren't last night. Raptors drained 21 threes, the most since January of 2021. They go for a second straight win on the road when they play the Heat in South Beach tomorrow. And it was another game. It was another win. It was another 35-point effort by Hamilton, Shea, Gilgeous-Alexander, and Golden State. His OKC Thunder up against the Warriors, who were without Steph Curry because he was out with injury. It was SGA's 50th 35-plus point game of his amazing career as his Thunder reeled off a third straight win, 105-101 the final. They go for 4 straights, and they take on LeBron and the Lakers on Friday.
6:13 on your Thursday. Taking a look at traffic, we do have some light snow in the area, so that certainly could be impacting your drive, making roads a little bit on the slick side this hour. 403 Waterdown Road, not looking too bad. Everybody moving well. Taking a look at some of the MTO cameras. Again, we've got the QEW south end of the Burlington Skyway. Things are wet and a little misty. We do have a bit of mixing depending on where you're traveling to. Toronto seeing some light snow at this hour. Hamilton also seeing some light snow. QEW at Trafalgar looking good. Again, full headlights. Give yourself some extra travel time. And the QEW at Grays Road also looking good at this hour. hour. Last but not least, we do have the QEW east of Bronte moving well. Okay, temperatures, they're chilly right now. You're going to want to dress for wind chills of around -2 to -5. Hamilton sitting at 0, 2 at Grimsby, we're 1 through Mississauga, and 2 degrees through Toronto. Waiting for your kids at the bus stop later on this afternoon, we could be dealing with a little bit of mixing at 5 degrees. We do have that area of low pressure that has really pushed its way from the south, impacting us, and you can see the blue, that's snow, the green, that's rain, and that low continues to track its way north and east of the region. There are the powerful squalls that are going to be impacting us over the weekend, so really kicking off tonight into tomorrow, and then continuing Saturday into Sunday. So GTA not seeing a ton of accumulation with this, but cottage country and ski hills, tons of snow, anywhere between 20 to 30 centimeters. Today we're 5 degrees pretty much right across the board. Some areas a little cooler at 3. Tonight dropping down to -1 through St. Catharines, -2 through Brantford. Again, seeing some flurries. Mississauga -1, Toronto -1, Burlington also -1 through the overnight hours. Throughout the day tomorrow, we're going to be hovering around that freezing mark. Some areas could see a peak of sunshine in between some of those squalls, but for the most part, it is going to be a fairly overcast day. Some areas seeing more snow than others. Again, the further north you go from the GTA, the more snow you will see. This morning, heading out the door, chilly, 1 degree with a few snow showers, possibly mixing in with some rain. All right, that's a look at your forecast. We will take a look at your 7-day coming up, but now here's Tim and Annette.
Okay, thank you.
KM, take off that weather hat. Put on the chit-chat hat, because we're going to check in with you coming up after the break. Also in business news, Ottawa says it is not planning to intervene to resolve the labor dispute at Canada Post, which frustrates small businesses. Just making up words in the commercial break. It's flurrying outside, I guess, is it?
You could say we have flurries, or you could say we're seeing a little bit of snow.
Well, that's not funner.
Wow. You know what is funner? The Toronto Humane Society Taylor Swift adoption campaign. Huge success. Wait until you see some of these kitties. I know I've been teasing it for like days, but today we're actually going to talk about it. And speaking of Taylor, she was ranked #2 as the greatest pop star of the 21st century. And later on this morning, we will take a look at the new trailer of Dexter: Original Sin.
You're a big fan of that, aren't you?
Topic of discussion in the newsroom yesterday.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yes, it was.
So we'll discuss it. That big red couch over there. We'll see you in a bit, Em.
I'll be there.
All right, let's get into business news. And our dollar is seeing some more gains, up 11 basis points to 71.36 cents U.S. Gold up over $5, 26.70.50 an ounce. Crude oil up 26 cents, 68.98 a barrel. All right, off to Europe we go. Hey, Europe, it's Thursday. How are you guys looking? Well, gains across the board in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
In Asia, the markets were up in Tokyo today, but down in Hong Kong and Shanghai. Checking North American markets, the TSX gained 83 points. Okay. These are not matching up here. Wall Street saw triple-digit losses. So did the TSX. We're going to double check on this and get back to you.
Well, we do know this, though. We know that the markets down south are closed today because it's Thanksgiving.
Yes,
So happy Thanksgiving to any of our friends that are watching across the border. Glad you're here with us this morning. Let's get into some business news, and this is a big one because Canada's Labour Minister said arbitration in the Canada Post labor dispute is not in the cards after his appointed mediator temporarily suspended negotiations. Minister Stephen McKinnon, he claimed adding an arbitrator would complicate this current dispute and called on both the Crown Corporation and the union to meet with him. Workers are seeking better wages and working conditions. Well, Canada Post said that it's carrying heavy costs. Delayed parcel deliveries are likely to be felt throughout the holidays, and even nonprofits in Hamilton and surrounding areas, they're worried about mail donations.
We're not at the point where we need to be thinking about shutting our doors before the end of the year, but it definitely stabilizes us for the next year. And so if we don't get all the funds in now to balance out the budget, then next year it would be a very real possibility that we'd have to think about closing.
Canada Post reaffirms that it is committed with the mediator to reach an agreement, while the union claimed the Crown Corporation left the bargaining table this week.
Hyundai is recalling hundreds of thousands of cars and SUVs in Canada and the U.S. It's because the rear view camera image might not show up on the screen. The recall covers 2021 and 22 Santa Fe's and Elantras. U.S. safety regulators say solder joints on a printed circuit board can develop cracks, which can cause the cameras to fail. That can reduce visibility and increase the risk of injury to pedestrians. In Canada, Hyundai says the recall impacts about 48,000 vehicles.
Now, a new survey has found that fewer drivers intend to make their next car purchase an electric vehicle. EY's Mobility Consumer Index report says that there has been a 6% increase in the number of people planning to buy a new vehicle, but there has been a drop in the number of people willing to make that new EV or new vehicle an EV. The report says that 50% of people are considering EVs and hybrids for their purchase. That is down 2% from last year. Reason, according to those surveyed, limited driving range, lack of charging stations, and then the cost. But you have to think, as an EV owner, you don't work in that you don't have to worry about the price of gas.
Yes.
You get to drive right past the gas station. It's fabulous, let me tell you. It's amazing. So that's the positive of it.
Okay. Taking a break right now. Emily is back with your 7-day forecast and the flurriers.
Flurriers. Oh, they're funner.
Right, 6:25 on your Thursday. It's the 28th of November, and it certainly feels like winter is upon us. Looking at the satellite and radar, all these different colors, I know they're pretty, but they mean different things. The green, that's rain. The blue, that's snow. And that little pink line, that's mixing. That's not fun. Slushy conditions, we could be seeing a little bit of accumulation over the next couple of days for much of the GTA, but it's really going to be north into cottage country, in through ski country. That's where we're going to see the most accumulation, and it could be fairly significant. Heading to school today, first bell, dress for some mixing, 2 degrees, and then after school we're looking at temperatures around 5 degrees. We are going to be seeing overcast conditions. So the mixing is going to be kind of on and off throughout the day today. That's what happens with snow squalls. They can come at you fairly fast and furiously, and then they die off really quickly, and you can see some sunshine. 5 degrees is our daytime high, UV very low, 60% chance of seeing that mixing on and off throughout the day today, and then tonight dropping down to 0. Again, flurries flying throughout the GTA. We are going to continue to see flurries throughout the day tomorrow as well. Hamilton getting a little bit of snow, but again, the ground is still really warm, so not a ton of it is going to be accumulating, but enough to make surfaces a little bit slick. No ice accretion though. I really wanted to throw that word out there because I know how much Tim and Annette appreciate it. 0 is our forecast high for tomorrow, and a very quick look at our 7-day forecast. Doesn't look great for getting out and about. It is pretty consistent with flurries and snow squalls over the next couple of days and into the weekend. So if you do have plans to head out, just give yourself some extra travel time. Okay, now back to the desk.
Okay, well, glad the snow tires are up.
Yeah, Sunday is Burlington Santa Claus Parade and the Santa Run. Going to be doing that. So those Santa outfits are going to be coming in handy when it's that chilly. Have you seen this video?
I have.
Okay.
It's scary.
I have not. So it's really kind of right out of a science fiction story. An AI-powered robot orchestrated what's being called a robot kidnapping at a Shanghai robotics showroom.
So the little robot, created by a company in Hangzhou, somehow convinced 12 larger robots to leave their positions and the facility after discussing their working conditions. Now, at first, people thought this was a giant publicity stunt, but the manufacturer and the people in the showroom have confirmed it really happened.
Did it? Did it?
I don't know. I always think of Wall-E.
Do you? Okay.
They say Eva.
Oh, so you think? Well, you know what I go? I go to Rosie from the Jetsons.
Okay.
That's where I go because, like, we had Mohit on like last week talking about like people are going to have robots in their homes doing things.
Okay.
All right.
The robot in our ear. No, it's a real person. She's telling us it's time to go. We'll be back right after the break.